Good afternoon, everybody. My name is James Gregorski. Thank you very much for coming to Borderlands issue 49 launch, hosted by Malvern Books. Before we get started, I'd like to say thank you to several folks and entities, and we're very appreciative for all of their hard work that they have given over the past months in creating this issue. First and foremost, we'd like to thank Malvern Books for hosting the event. Staff always does a great job. We're appreciative for their support. Also, I'd like to say thank you very much so to all the artists, poets, reviewers, and everybody who's contributed their work to this issue. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Still further, I would like to say thank you to One Touch Point, who produces our books, Terry Sharrow, Georgianne Chalmers, and staff. They always do a great job. They always make our books look great, and they get it exactly like we ask. Finally, I would like to say a thanks to the Cultural Arts Division of the City of Austin Economic Development Department for their support in helping us run our program. Issue 49 for Borderlands, Texas Poetry Review is many things. It's brought together, I'd say, mainly by something that I guess could be described as place. In some form or another. The works of J. Scott Brownlee are anchored in the rural experience and landscape, and that's in the geographic sense. But place can also take on other things and have other meanings. When a work is produced, you could be in a place in a relationship, a status, familial, otherwise. You could be at a specific station in life, maybe a perceived station in life. It could be in a mental or emotional state. So the works in issue 49 are joined together by place in some form or another. It's not the only way to characterize the issue, but it's something to consider as we go along over the course of the program. Which we do have a very busy program this afternoon, and so I think we will get things underway. Our first guest is a poet and educator born in Lexington, Kentucky. After teaching on the Pine Ridge Reservation, she moved to Austin to pursue her MFA at the New Writers Project through the University of Texas. Her work can be found in narrative, sonora review, electric lit, and elsewhere. She currently lives in Austin, where she serves as programs coordinator for the Library Foundation. I would like you all to give a warm welcome to Katelin Kelly.
Thank you so much, James, and thanks to everyone who helped to make this issue of Borderlands possible. I always love the size and just beauty of how clean all of the work is. So thank you all so much for including me in this. I wanted to open today also thanking Sequoia Maynor, who's a reader for Borderlands, who helped encourage me to submit this piece that ended up, being featured in the issue. And one thing that Sequoia does at every one of her readings is she'll read a poem from an inspiring poem that has brought us here. So I'd like to honor Mary Oliver today in a poem. We've recently lost her. There's been so much conversation and uplifting her and her work. And Brenda Shaughnessy, another contemporary poet, posted this poem, The Whistler, that Mary wrote about her longtime partner, Molly Malone Cook. And I think that it's a really significant piece on love and celebrating queer love, celebrating lesbian love. And so I just wanted to bring that into our space today. The Whistler by Mary Oliver. All of a sudden she began to whistle. By all of a sudden, I mean that for more than 30 years she had not whistled. It was thrilling. At first, I wondered, who was in the house? What stranger? I was upstairs reading. She was downstairs. As from the throat of a wild and cheerful bird, not caught, but visiting. The sound warbled and slid and doubled back and larked and soared. Finally, I said, "Is that you? Is that you whistling?" "Yes," she said. "I used to whistle a long time ago. Now I see I can still whistle." And cadence after cadence, she strolled through the house, whistling. I know her so well, I think, I thought. Elbow and ankle mood and desire, anguish and frolic, anger too, and the devotions. And for all that, do we even begin to know each other? Who is this I've been living with for 30 years? This clear, dark, lovely whistler. It's a beautiful piece. So now I'm going to read my own work. Feels like a letdown after Mary Oliver. Got two pieces. I'm going to read the piece that's featured in Borderlands. As we were saying earlier, my poem's very much about place, physical place, but also like a mental and emotional space and the history within that space. So for years, before I moved to Austin, I was living on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. And this is somewhat of a narrative take on a kind of wild night outside of the reservation on a Halloween night. Interior, South Dakota. I accidentally resurrected Manifest Destiny in a Playboy bunny costume. I was trying to be Gloria Steinem, carrying around a little black book, writing down all the jokes at the bar, but the cowboys wouldn't have it. I was the thing to be owned. So the Oglala almost fought them that night at the wagon wheel, interior South Dakota. Maybe that wasn't resurrection. Maybe it was reversal, because I wasn't taken away. That night, the Little White River Band took a breath, and I stole a tambourine and bet my ex $20 I could keep the beat all night, even after he left, even after I could remember. Because I was fogged up like a horn, bellowing east or west or in the direction of the Continental Divide. The First Lady at the wagon wheel, private detail outside. She's holding a copy of Sappho. No, she's spinning a copy of Sappho on her index finger. She wishes she was a little bit taller. She cups barley and hops, rot and foam. And she wasn't me in that Steinem suit, but she wasn't clapping on stage either. The wagon wheel, the Little White River Band, silent now, and she's writing. I hope it's handwritten. I hope it's not on paper. Lost in the orbs of the internet, the green, the blue, the electric cowboy branding site. The First Lady speaks in burps, hiccuping on blades of grain, on the tis of these, on the Sappho, and vomits remarkable yellow moon rays on the wagon wheel. My next piece is called Relations, kind of exploring all of our relations, which is also related to place in a way. This comes also out of a trip home for the holidays, which maybe some of you have experienced, and then a trip back. So it's exploring relations in 5 parts. They're short, I promise. Then I'll be done after this. Thank you guys so much. Relations. 1. When you enter my mother's house, it smells like dirt and sweet cotton, peppermint maybe too. She hugs you, and you feel like crying in new ways as the wave of her love crashes with the weight of time and space it took for you to arrive in her womb 30 years ago, and for you to drive the 17 hours there. You've both crossed into new states of weather. By looking at her house, you would think she owns lifetimes of antiques, which is correct. You would ask how it all balances in there, delicate in its cattywampus build. You cannot move a thing without disturbing the lines of the house itself. And you cannot do a thing correctly without being told she has her own way. And since she is home most of the time, just her, there will be more things you're told, because you're there, and you feel it all over. 2. When your father texts you a picture of the toast he meant to give at your wedding, you can only think, God bless him, because it means something, and you don't know the word for it. 3, when you walk in the yard with the dogs, you will remember the dead dogs who ate the grass and vomited it up in the same spot where your current dog is peeing. This is an ecosystem. This is communication with those who have crossed over. This yard is someone's heaven. 4, there's no iron in the water, and this makes the bourbon clear. There is no limestone in the grass, and this makes the horse's legs strong. There's bourbon in you, but no horse. How old will you have to be to drink that blood? How much more expensive is the horse than 2 fingers of Pappy Van Winkle? 5, how do you guide your love through your hometown? Really, I'm asking. You show the love around, offering black-eyed peas and panic. The trees have grown since you left. There are saplings on top of old nothing. There are bulldozed moments that hop back. There is no relation to the previous. There is also no way to share it. Thank you.